Hey everyone, it's Michael. I hope you're doing well today. And of course, I'm in the middle of reviewing the Cars, and I guess technically Planes since it's a spin-off series, reviews, And I made the mistake of watching all of the Cars films first before I did the Planes films, even though I wanted to release all of these in order, with the spin-offs for Planes included as well. So before I make the review for Cars 3, I had to talk about these. So after Cars 2, right, that was like 2011 or something like that. In 2013, we had this movie come out, not from Pixar, not from the people who are making the Cars films, but from Disney's other, like, animated studio. I think it's called Disney Toon or something like that. And they essentially made their own kind of spinoff called In the World of Cars, quote unquote. And, in the Cars movies, you have, like, for example, you have tractors that are basically cows. They just moo and stuff. I don't understand why they only moo, but they don't talk, like the regular Cars from the Cars movies. But here we have a character named Dusty Crophopper, who's played by Dane Cook, who I'm actually a fan of. I like Dane Cook. He's not very popular anymore, but when I was growing up, he was the shit, man. Everybody liked him. Essentially, he plays a guy named Dusty, who is a plane who's afraid of heights, apparently. And he also wants to compete in a worldwide race, right? So everybody else is able to go super, super high in this race, and Dusty just kind of stays kind of lower to the ground, being a crop duster. And this movie sucks. Can I just tell you that? Like, the idea of a worldwide race and planes that talk and stuff, just like the Cars from the Cars films, that stuff seems like not a bad idea, in my personal opinion, for a kid's movie or for a movie in general. Not really concerned with that all that much. And also, to the point of, I kept seeing criticism for this over the years of it basically just being the first Cars film retold with planes. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. As awful as this film is, and I agree, 100% it's an awful movie. Like, it actually sucks. This is worse than Cars 2, just so you know. So the franchises were not in a good place at this point in time, back in the 2010s, just so you know, if you never saw Planes. For the record, I really liked Cars 1 and 3 at this current moment. I actually liked Cars 1 and 3 quite a bit. I thought they were really solid flicks. Not the best thing ever, but they were fine. They were cool. Probably not even in my top 5 for Pixar movies. But anyway, it seems to me that this movie, it's not trying to remake the first Cars film, despite all the racing parts of it. And I don't even care that much about Dusty as a character, None of his side characters really click with me either, even though one of them is played by Robert from Everybody Loves Raymond, who I love to death too. And I think another one of the characters in here too is played by Julia Dreyfus from Seinfeld and Christmas Vacation. And I like her a lot too. You have a lot of side characters played by people you'll know, but the movie doesn't look right, right? When you watch Cars and, like, you have all the great audio sound effects and the sound design for it is so special. You don't have that here. The animation looks cheaper most of the time. There's a couple of flight sequences at the very, very beginning of the film, like when it opens up with kind of a dream sequence that Dusty is having about flying against military air jets, I don't even know what those are called. But there's an opening sequence with that, and then there's a sequence later on that looks like it's taking place in like a desert Grand Canyon type of thing. Both of those are incredibly detailed, beautifully animated. All the camera work with the planes there is really, really nice. I really enjoyed those. But the rest of the film, even the other scenes throughout the film, between those two moments I just talked about, of the racing and building up that slow-ass build-up to the actual race and getting there, animations of just characters talking and having conversations with Dusty, either during the race or right before they begin to do this race, all of that looks so poor in the animation department, in the coloring department. It's just a really lame-looking movie. It's not up to snuff. It's clearly trying to trick you into it being a Pixar film, and I wouldn't even say trick, but it kind of is when Pixar is not the one making it. But all the little missing details, you say what you will about Pixar nowadays, but all the little details missing that I think are actually really, really important here, I don't know, man. Something's going on here. There's something missing here. The charm is not there. This feels like a cash grab, which I have no issue with somebody making a cash grab as long as it's good. I don't have an issue with that. My problem comes in with the fact that this movie sucks. They did nothing special with it, nothing charming with it. It has a really obnoxious soundtrack. It has really obnoxious characters. This one particular character who is supposed to be Spanish, he's one of the planes, because it's a planes movie. He's awful. I fucking hate that character. I can't stand it. There are so many scenes tied to that character and how he's trying to seduce this female plane who's like, I think she was French. I don't know. I was so annoyed with this movie, dude, that I barely paid attention. Because my brain just kept trying to shut down last night. I had worked all day. I had done so much recording before work yesterday and a bunch of housework before work. So my brain last night, as I tried to sit through this shit, it was not the whipped cream on the evening. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of sucked. Everything about it sucked. Everything that could suck about it sucked. Even the sound design I mentioned with cars being so good. This doesn't even have that well done. That's how bad it is. And I don't know what happened. And again, I like Dane Cook. I love Robert from Everybody Loves Raymond. Was really excited to see them in the cast here. But the script is bad. The dialogue is bad. They don't even really get any gags or jokes that are actually funny at all. From what I understand, looking online, apparently a lot of people's kids even hate the film. Didn't like it going into it. Especially Cars kids. You know, the ones who like the Cars movies. They didn't even like the movie. So it's not just a matter of being too old for it. Maybe if you're a baby, you'll like the film. I don't know. But the movie itself, I hated Planes, dude. I think this is truly shockingly bad. And I was excited when I found out it was an airplane racing movie. That sounded kind of neat. But no, it's terrible. Don't even waste your time. Anyway, have you seen Planes or its sequel that I'm about to review? I guess after I get a chance to watch it tonight, Planes, Fire, and Rescue, which I completely forgot even existed because I was never into these movies. God, I hope that's better than this one. I heard it was, but we'll see. Anyway, what do you think about the Planes films in the midst of the Cars franchise? What's your favorite of the two Planes movies? Do you think you'll ever get a third one? I doubt it. I really, really doubt it, because it seems like the whole Cars thing is kind of dead now. I don't know. But Cars 3 kind of retires that, so I guess that's why. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.